Well, rivalry is fierce across all sports between New Zealand and Australia, and it will reach fever pitch on Sunday when nearly 100,000 people will pack out the Melbourne Cricket Ground for the title decider. But we're now joined in studio by the SABC cricket analyst and commentator, Sotyelelwa. Kolele, thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon to me, good afternoon to your viewers.
Absolutely. Well, the Proteas have started coming back, flocking back into the country, and we understand that's in groups of 4. Well, the first group has arrived at OR Tambo. Where to from here for the Proteas?
Well, rest. They need to rest. They need to get over what has just happened. They need to also look back and look at what they've done well, which in my opinion, they've done a lot of things well. They've covered a lot of things in this period, building up to the World Cup and including the World Cup. And look forward to the series against Bangladesh, because there won't be any cricket. Yes, some will be going to IPL duties, but up until the next tour, they just need to relax and just switch off for a bit, because they've taken in a lot. I mean, we saw the emotion after that semi-final. It's only normal that they need a bit of rest and just to switch off from that.
And what happened during the semi-final? Social media is going about, some saying they choked, or some are saying, you know what, they bowed out as the true, champs that they are. But in your opinion, what happened there?
Look, to me, South Africans are desperate. South Africans are emotional. The Proteas by far did not choke on the day. They may have let us down in an area that we seldom worry about, which is fielding. At the back end of the bowling innings, they let down a few catches, a few run-outs. I mean, that's only normal and expected in a semi-final, especially closely contested as it was. But they certainly didn't choke. They had the runs on the board. However, there are a few selection questions with regards to who should have played, who shouldn't, and who should have not played in the previous matches. But there's a lot of things, South Africans are generally, desperate to have that Cricket World Cup in our country, and you could see it in the players' faces after that match that they were really disappointed. Absolutely.
Now, South Africa was not the only team that was, bowled out of the tournament. India, which were the defending champions, also left during the semi-finals, leaving the co-hosts New Zealand and Australia to face each other at the finals. Is this the first time that we're seeing 2 co-hosts match each other during a final?
Tell you what, to me, India may be out, but there will be a lot of Indian supporters at the Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Really?
A lot of them.
Okay.
They love their cricket. However, yes, it is the first time we're seeing a final between 2 co-hosts, and it will be closely contested. I'm sure New Zealand have already made their way to Melbourne as we speak now, and they will be confident. Past World Cups, New Zealand have always gone into a World Cup. That team, no one expects to reach a semi-final and a final. It's always that team that's there, will upset 1 or 2 teams. However, this year they've been carried by the captain, Brendan McCullum, and has led them to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let's get to the final now. Who do you think would anticipate, to bat first or chase? What's your opinion there?
Look, to me, again, I say it's a final. In a final, you can win the toss, you bat first, everything goes your way, and at the end of the day, you've got to take 10 wickets, you've got to put the runs on the board, and your bowlers need to stick to their lines, your fielding needs to be on point, you've got to catch the catches, the stumpings, everything, everybody needs to be switched on in a final. But in a final, it's easier to win the toss, to be safe, get the runs on the board, and then you know what you're defending with your bowlers.
But I mean, I'm sure it looks like New Zealand is more favoured now. They've beaten Australia before in group stages, and now they're going to face them in the final. Do you think, fair enough, when we anticipate how the match would go, we'd automatically or organically just feel like New Zealand has the upper hand?
Now, yes, they do have the upper hand. They're the informed team. They're yet to lose a match. But, in sport is very funny. You can win all your matches, your group stages, your knockouts, and then you get to the final and then everything just stops, because we've seen how New Zealand have approached the innings, especially their batting. They rely a lot on the captain to give them a quick start up front, and then in those middle period overs, they've got someone to knock it around like Kane Williamson, and then at the back end have players who can launch. However, if you look at the other side, when they bowl, the first 10 overs, they look a lot to Trent Boult and Tim Southee. My question is, if that doesn't happen in a final, what then? We saw how vulnerable they were against the Proteas in those middle overs, that when Faf du Plessis and AB de Villiers were going along nicely, we saw that there was a bit of frustration. And I think for the first time in this tournament, we saw a frown on Brendan McCullum's face. However, if you look at the Australian side, they've got a beautiful side. Michael Clark has got plenty of all-rounders up his sleeves. So his arsenal is well poised. He's got the home support. He's playing at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It doesn't get better than that to be playing a final at home.
I can see you trying to be balanced and objective, but I have to put you on the spot, Six. Who is taking the cup?
For me, I would go with the team that is well balanced, a team that has players who can change the game, players who can build innings, because if you've got one player who's going to launch you up front, if that doesn't happen in a final, who do you look to? So I will go with the Aussies. I hate to say this because, you know, when you play against the Aussies, you just want them to lose.
Yeah, I'm sure South Africans are like, why the Aussies? Because they've put us through so much. Yeah. But thank you so much for your time. Sotyelelwa, our SABC cricket analyst and commentator, thank you so much for your time.